Hey, it's Chris, and you know that whole iPad Pro can replace your laptop thing? Well, you have to take that with a grain of salt, or actually, maybe more like an avalanche. You can't take it too seriously. I'm gonna explain. For about a year now, I've lived with and worked with both of these devices, and if you asked me to pick one over the other right now, I still couldn't do it. It's too hard. And maybe you're feeling the same way. You can't pick one over the other. You're feeling a little bit salty. I don't blame you. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about why it's so hard to choose between the two, why I can't live without either, and if you made me pick between them, which one I would choose. Alright, so in my world, living with both of these devices, it's really split down the middle in terms of which one I use the most. See, I'm a creative person. That's the kind of work that I do. I create video and I treat it like art. And for creative millennials like myself, Macs have long been the creative tool of choice, although Microsoft's really been working hard to alter that image lately. But with the introduction of the Apple Pencil, you can no longer say that the iPad is only for consuming and that Macs are creative and iPads aren't, because that's just not the case anymore. They're both fully creative devices, but just in different ways. And yet what I love about the iPad Pro and where it has a distinct advantage over the MacBook Pro is that it's more portable. Now, I don't mean the size and the weight here as much, I'm kind of referring more to the cord situation. Ironically, my MacBook Pro now spends most of its time on my desk. And it's ironic because I got it to replace my old iMac so that I could be more portable. So there it sits on my desk, my MacBook Pro, day after day, and at any given time, it's connected to so many cords and dongles that it's really a pain to unhook all that and move it somewhere. And this is something that all Mac owners know. You don't just unplug an external hard drive, you have to eject it first. And every time I unplug a bunch of dongles, I know I'm just gonna have to plug them all back in, which makes me think twice about unplugging them in the first place. The iPad Pro, on the other hand, has only one cord plugged in at any given time, the power. So on a regular day, my MacBook is set up front and center right in front of my chair, and my iPad Pro is a little bit off to the left at a bit of an angle. And when I have to go somewhere and I need to take a device with me, I see them both sitting there, and the iPad Pro only has that one cord sticking out, and I always grab it over the MacBook Pro because it's just faster to unplug and go. So portability, but you know what else? I've actually been doing some gaming on my iPad Pro too, which I can't say about the Mac. Now, I own the Xbox One X and I definitely get a lot of use out of it, but it's not mobile. If you want to game on the Xbox, you park in front of the TV, but you can game on an iPad anywhere. Now, in all seriousness, do I consider the iPad Pro to be a gaming device? Well, not really, and definitely not primarily. But if you find a game that draws you in, it can be a fun experience. But trust me, most of what I use both of these devices for is for work, mostly video work, but not exclusively. Just like anybody, I do a lot of typing and communicating and research, and I've been doing the majority of that on the iPad. I'm really getting a lot out of the split screen of multitasking in the latest version of iOS, which lets me have up to 3 apps open at once and positioned exactly how I want. Pretty much every day, I've got the Apple Notes app open on the left with Safari or Astro, my email program, in split view, and I feel super productive this way. And then I can easily throw the calendar or Twitter or Things, my to-do list app, up on the screen for a quick check and then swipe it out of the way. Now, you can do split screen stuff on the Mac, and for whatever reason, I just don't work that way on the Mac. I like to have one thing open in the full screen mode, and that's just the way I do it. So the MacBook Pro in my life has ended up functioning more like a desktop computer than a laptop. And you know what's kind of weird? I kind of like this dual setup. Now, the truth is, as a creative, I use both. I want both. I need both. In my workflow, I use the iPad Pro for pre-production and production, and then kind of switch over to the MacBook Pro for post-production. So I'll answer emails and write up scripts on the iPad Pro, and then I'll take it into the studio and use it as a studio monitor for my camera. And then from there, I'll switch over and use Final Cut Pro on the Mac. And if you're a regular watcher, you probably remember seeing some hand-drawn elements in some of my recent videos. Well, those came from the iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil. But what if I want to hook up a bigger monitor or use accessories like Palette for video editing? For that, you have to go with the Mac. So that's just me and how I work. But what if you guys are like Chris? Pretend that you're not a YouTuber and you just have a desk job, or maybe you just want a computer at home. Which one of these would you pick? In an instant, I would pick the iPad Pro, no question. It's not even funny how fast I would make that decision. You can definitely handle your business on an iPad Pro, except I would do exactly what I did and get the 12.9 inch for that bigger screen, and you should go check out my previous iPad videos if you're curious why. So that's the thing, a lot of people might want or even need both, and they might not even know that until they've experienced them both. Like for me, I kind of went into shock a little bit when I had to sell my 9.7 inch iPad Pro to buy this thing, and I didn't have it for like a month, I don't know how long it was. But I was going nuts. I could survive, I could get everything done on just the MacBook Pro, but it wasn't pretty, it wasn't fun, and I felt way less productive. But I think that most people, not everybody, but most people, could get away with using just the iPad Pro and really, really love the experience. So here we are at the end of the video, and I'm not ready to quit talking. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's do a giveaway today. I haven't done one of these forever on the channel. I didn't announce it, so it's just for you people that stuck around for the end of this video. Good job. I'm gonna give away the SNES Classic that I used to make the review a while back. It's just sitting here, it's not being used, and I think it would be better for one of you to have it. Let's see, how should you guys enter? I don't know, this is completely impromptu, but here's what I'm thinking. I wanna spread a little bit of good around the internet. So why don't you guys go to Miles' channel. He's a smaller YouTuber, down in the description, and go to his latest video and show him a ton of love. Just be like, hey man, I watched your video, discovered you today, really loved this. And don't say that you came from Daily Tech or anything like that, just blow up the comments in that channel. I'm gonna go through and pick one of those. You have to be a subscriber, obviously, to my channel. So subscribe here, go comment on Miles' video. I'm gonna leave the link down in the description. Let's make somebody else's day, and I'll pick one of you to win that SNES. Oh, by the way, if you win and you're international, then you pay for shipping, but if you're here domestically in the US or North America, then I'll cover the shipping. So, all right guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Later.